Greetings everyone and welcome back at Taroko Double O Railways with me, Elizabeth. As you know by now, today we are looking at the 2MT, which is the BR Standard Class 2MT locomotive by Hornby. Now looking at the box, we can see that Hornby has captured the true look of the 2MT on every aspect on the photo as well on the box, and it does tell you that this loco will not just be an average accessory fitted loco, that the quality might be just a bit higher, like one step higher above average. And the usual boxing from the older locomotives and not the new upgraded version of the boxes tells you that when this loco was on hold, obviously they've used the current templates of boxing, but I don't care about that too much. As long as my loco arrives safely, I'm happy with that. Which brings me to the point today. This is why I've kept this loco for so long and I haven't really unpacked it. My layout is just overflooding with locomotives and stock. So yes, what an ideal time to unpack it today. And as we look further on the box, we can see on the left hand side a description. That we're looking at the back of the box, we will see the 2MT indication and description, as well as a brief history as per norm by Hornby and the configuration layout of the locomotive on the right hand side as per normal. At the end of the box description, it says minimum radius again at 438 millimeters and DCC ready in double O gauge locomotive by Hornby. And the Hornby stock code number is R3982 for this loco, the BR standard 2MT, which is the 260 locomotive and wheel arrangement there, and the running number is number 78006. So after the long wait, then in 2024, the BR Standard Class 2MT was launched, and I think towards the end of 2023 was the black one, and I've been looking at that one in 2023 at my local supplier for quite a while, but it did stay in stock for almost another year into 2024, and then when I decided to go for the BR black version, it was sold. And then as quick as the BR green ones came in, and there was only one that actually came in, I grabbed the stock and bought it, and it was delivered, and I've forgotten about it in the box of locos. Yeah, what can you say? And yes, now it's time to do a review on this lovely loco. So also in the box was the instruction manual as well as the accessory packet, and one thing I can note is there's quite a wealth of extras in this accessory packet, and some of them I can't even identify. The buffer and the buffer beam details, steps and pointers I think, and cylinder, and then also it looks like a brake loads and things like that. But yes, the biggest thing that stands out is the snow plow. Again, the motor on this loco, and it is one of those smaller locos, and it feels quite heavy though, and I don't know how much it is DIECAST. But what I can feel of my first impression is that this is definitely a quality model, although it is a very belated model that was launched. And obviously I didn't want to set myself up for disappointment earlier, so I kind of like put it on hold to do a review on this loco. It's time to pack it out and it's time to bring it out and so that it can run. But having said that, so the finishes are very beautiful, as you can see here, in this rich green color, and it's really looks the part, and it really feels and looks like a quality model when you look at all these accessories fitted. and the boiler is definitely die-cast, and also the smoke box is fixed on the loco, so it's not separately fitted. And then there's definitely a wealth of finishes, as I confirmed before, and a lot of separately painted and fitted parts on this locomotive, but it still makes it easy to handle and safe to handle without unnecessary little particulars getting lost on the way. Hornby has reflected the true characteristics of this 2MT in this model. So you have the usual painted number on the sides, and also the network number, and also which is the classification number, and above the number there. There is also a builder's plate in front of the loco, and it's nice pristine finishes, print work, and above the beam. What can I say? I mean, that's what we are used to by Hornby. And there's also other painted components, pipe works, lots of separately fitted and molded parts. As you can see, all these extra fitted parts are excellently fitted, and I can't see any glue marks. Normally I have my Hornby locos brand new, and these oil marks and glue marks sometimes, and honestly, when I'm not happy, I'm not happy. And I've seen some 2MTs of the earlier ones that were launched, and they had some here and there, they had some bad finishing work, but nevertheless, I do believe in Hornby, and I think someday they will get everything right. What we have experienced is something that will happen in any business. I think you do get a good car that is built on a good Monday, and you get a bad car that's built on a Friday. So we all just have to go with the flow and send it back. I mean, after all, you've got the right to send it back and to ask for a new item, replacement. Anyways, the whole loco itself, without the tender now, is basically made out of metal, it feels like. So there's great crisp finishes and metal sprung buffers. There's even a coupling hook, 3 lamp brackets on the front of the running plate, and a detailed smoke box door, and also separately number bound and lamp brackets on there, and definitely the smoke box separately fitted pipe works beneath that, and the boiler is very realistic, I must say. It does appear that the dome is not separately fitted, and that it is part of the complete mold, which is great because it looks real and it gives that great finish. The wheels and the couplings and connecting rods, and all is done well by Hornby. Great finishes there, and I must say the wheels does look realistic, and the axles even, and the rods and the speedo assembly also quite visible. And moving along to the front of the cab, the safety rolls, and they also match the whistle on top, and there's also the opening vent on top of the roof there. And inside the cab, it's a wealth of finishes, again with the gauges with printed numbers, and some pipe work in there as well. Also featuring some glazing at the bars in front, and all these extras actually make the loco just feel and look the part, and definitely in a way justify the price of this locomotive. It is very interesting and has a very part of the cab as well in its front of the tender, and it does give that nice marriage feeling when they line up together, the roof and the backing of the tender supporting it, giving that extra protection for the loco driver. Colour finish and riveting, everything just flows nicely towards the loco, so everything matches correctly, and what a great finish, especially because the tender is basically plastic. The underframe of the tender is a matte black finish, and one great thing about this loco is that the axle boxes are finished painted out in yellow with a red stripe. And the tender also boasts with some great finishes and some wealth of finishes molded in detail there. Into the back of the tender, we can see the coal load looks great, and the tender has separately fitted handrails, and the ladders also painted out in black, which is just great. There's a lot of added extras and finishes on this logo with the tender, which really makes this one of the nicer little logos out there. So also featuring line brackets there and the normal finishes with sprung buffers. So now we get to the favorite part of the episode where we go into the history of the 2MT. Developed from Arvid's Class 2MT 260 design of 1946 for the London Midland and Scottish Railway, the British Railway Standard Class 2MT 260 design benefited from the work carried out in 1949 and 1950 to improve the steaming characteristics of the Arvid. Under Robert Riddles, the design was principally carried out from Derby with input from Swindon, Brighton and Doncaster drawing officers, and the 65 locomotives ordered were all built at Darlington between December 1952 and November 1956 to Swindon Lot 402. The principal difference between the two Class 2MT types centered upon the cab on both locomotive and tender, with the BR standard using an angled cab side matched to the tender cab to improve route availability to almost universal access across the British Railways network. The LMS top feed arrangement was replaced by the BR standard clack valve arrangement, and the appearance of the front end was smoothed out, giving a neater appearance. The first 10 locomotives were sent to the Western region between December 1952 and April 1953. Where they were allocated to Oswestry for work over the Mid-Wales lines, while the second batch of 35 locomotives delivered between December 1953 and December 1954 was shared between the Eastern and Midland regions, covering an area from Leicester and Wales to Cumbria and Durham. The third batch of 10 engines was delivered to the Scottish region between October and December 1955, working across the region, even up to Wick and Thurso in the far north. The final batch of 10 locomotives was delivered between February and June 1956 and ended up with the Midland region at Chester and Wigan. The southern region never received an allocation of the BR standard 2MTs, the closest being the locomotives allocated to Willesden that worked transfer freights and occasional suburban passenger service in the southwest of London. Locomotives were reliable in service, entirely suited their mixed traffic task, and were equally at home hauling short rake of coaches and on rural lines or moving freight across the Pennines. The crews appreciated the protection offered by the modern enclosed cabs, the ease with which the locomotives could be fired, and the free steaming performance the class offered. Visibility from the locomotive was good, useful when used for shunting or as shed pilot, and, when required, the locomotives could turn in reasonable speed. Two locomotives, number 78018 and number 78019, even became celebrity engines when in 1955 British transport film Snowdrift at Bleathquill told the story of 78018's rescue from deep snowdrifts near Stanmore Summit by 78019. By the end of May 1967, the class had been withdrawn from service, with just 4 locomotives, number 78018, 7819 and 7822 and 7859, being saved for preservation. Number 78006, the locomotive we have on the layout today, was one of the first batch of the 2MT standard designs built by British Railways. The locomotives in the batch were built for Western Region at Darlington, who had experience building the LMS Iver 260s. The locomotive was initially assigned to the Oswestry depot for work in mid-Wales, where the enclosed cab design proved a huge advantage. From 1962, the locomotive was based in Gloucester, where it remained until withdrawal in December 1965. You have it. Overall, a beautiful locomotive and elegantly finished off by Hornby with all the separate fitted and painted parts and molded parts on this locomotive is just amazing. And a 2MT is a well-worthy purchase and a great add-on to your collection of locomotives. So thank you very much everyone for spending some time with me and finding out more about my 2MT on my layout today. Once again, everyone, for joining me at Taraka AA Railways, and thanks for all your subscriptions and all your frequent pop-ins. I really do appreciate it, and all your comments. And I'm just a lady wanting to play trains, and memories of my childhood coming through. So that is my value, and that is what I love and what I hold on to. And thank you for sharing this with me. And I'm actually very fortunate to be able to share it with you, and I appreciate that. And I thank God every day for the blessings that He has bestowed on me. And I do appreciate having what I've got. And there's also limits to things. And I'm not the best modeler out there, for sure not, but I am a hobbyist, and that is the whole community of hobbyists standing together, supporting each other. And on this note, I would like to mention, I do, every time I get a subscription, I do subscribe back, so I paid for it. And even when I scroll through and I watch other videos and commentaries on trains and modelers and hobbyists, I do comment and I do give thumbs ups and I do subscribe. So pay it forward, guys. Come on, let's make this hobby great again. So take care, everyone. Be safe. Love each other. Love your family. Appreciate every minute you have with them. All my best as always. Regards, Elizabeth.